It's Gunvor time! Hello and welcome back to another video. I mean, this got pretty awkward because this build I'm gonna show you today, uh, I originally thought, well, the one I'm going with at least, that's mainly for speed farming, Torment 10 and lower Greater Rifts. But I recently found out about another variation of this build, which seems to be really suitable for higher greater rifting. Unfortunately, I don't really have the required items for that, but I'm gonna go over that so you can, make your own judgment if what you want to play. So let's get this started. This time, I'm using the Natalia set, and this is basically the so-called Reign of Vengeance build, Reign of Vengeance strafe, I should say. Because the whole point with this build is to, you shoot off a Rain of Vengeance, then you use Strafe and other attacks in order to reduce the cooldown, because the 2 set of this, it makes your Rain of Vengeance, the cooldown reduced by 4 seconds when you hit with any attack, basically. Other than that, the Rain of Vengeance deals more damage, and after you cast Rain of Vengeance, you deal a lot more damage with everything you do, and you take reduced damage. So it's a rather tough build as well. Let's see here. That's the set. You will be using the weapon of the set, and I actually got pretty lucky with the roll on this one. This is a pretty nice Slayer. The reason you're using this is because of it gives you 23% rain damage. Other than that, you want to be using, at least for my variation, I'm using the Khmar 10 clip, just because of it gives strafe damage, and it gives the strafe the effect of the Drifting Shadow, and the Drifting Shadow rune, it increases your movement speed, or rather it doesn't increase it, but it doesn't reduce the movement speed, because regularly the strafe reduces your movement speed, I think, to 75% of your maximum. The other variation I've seen of this is that you can use Dawn, which I have currently cubed. I will show you that later, but I will go over that when I show the cubed items. Anyway, you will be using the Crashing Rain Belt, because of this is the main damage dealer. Because what it does is, every time you cast Rain of Vengeance, it summons a Crashing Beast that deals a lot of damage. And this can range from, I think, 3,000, let's check this. Yeah, 3,000 weapon damage to 4,000. So you see, that one I got it's about as good as you can get it. I mean, the stats are decent enough, and I mean, you can get an Ancient for most of that, but what can you do? You will be using the Wraps of Clarity again. As I said, you use this for almost every build because of the hatred generators reduce the damage taken. Mantle of Channeling. This is a rather unique item, because in almost every other set you're using like the whole set. You have the shoulders, you have the helm, etc, etc. But here you don't do that. Natalia's doesn't actually have any shoulders. So what this does is, for one, it increases your Rain of Vengeance damage if you have, reforged that, which you should. Other than that, it's mainly because you're always kind of strafing, and that gives you a constant 23% increased damage, and you take 25% reduced. So a bit of both there. Damage reduced and, toughness. So other than that, I would say, yeah, speaking of the Rain of Vengeance Reforge, you should try to get the Rain of Vengeance on shoulders, and you can also get that on the chest. Unfortunately, I don't really want to reforge away my vitality, because I kind of need the toughness. Yeah, that's the gear I'm using currently. So for legendary gems, oh, by the way, yeah, focus, restraint. That's what you generally want to be using here. Bane of the Stricken, yeah, for the boss damage. It's a really nice gem for doing both speed farming and great rifting. Bane of the Trapped. This is kind of extremely useful in this build because I'm gonna show you the passives I'm using later. Gogok, I've recently just added this because I went with Bane of the Powerful before, but seeing that this actually gives, when above 25 rank, it actually gives you cooldown reduction. And cooldown reduction you can really never have too much of in this build because you want to be able to spam Rain of Vengeance as much as you can. So Gogok is actually a really useful gem here. Yeah, so yeah, I should tell you because when I go over the cube here, this is the dagger that you want to be cubing if you're going with the other variant, because the other variant is also includes Fan of Knives, and it's more of a lightning build because you can do a lot with that. So this dagger basically it increases your Fan of Knives damage by just waiting it out. Every second you gain 82%. If you cube it, you will get 100% because it's the maximum. I think, yeah. So if you decide to go with that, you will have to cube the dagger in the weapon slot instead of using Dawn there, because in that case you want to just skip the Khmar 10 clip and just equip the Dawn in your other hand, because then you can just skip the rune I'm using here. I will go with that, but for the cube I'm using the Dawn. I'm using the Visage of Goons because toughness reasons, really. It's really useful. So here is another deviation, because I don't really have that much of a cooldown reduction on my gear. If you're going with the other variation with the Fan of Knives, you don't generally use this ring. You use the Convention of Elements because of the damage buff. I mean, the Convention is really the go-to ring in a lot of builds, but if you don't have the required cooldown reduction, and you don't really care that much because you're just gonna be using the build to just speed farm, and well, it doesn't really matter that much. But other than that, yeah, that's the cubed items, that's the gear. For the paragons, you just want to be, let's go from the start. Let's spec everything in the movement speed as usual, then go dexterity. Cooldown reduction is preferred to just start with, at least for me. I mean, it's very useful, and then just go with crit, just follow that up with crit damage. I don't find attack speed that necessary, at least when using Gogok, because it gives you so much attack speed anyway. Resist all first, then go life, then go armor, etc, etc. Resource cost reduction is good because you're gonna be strafing all the time, and if by some weird reason you're having problem with maintaining your hatred because you're using Vengeance and Seath, I don't know what you could possibly doing to not have hatred for that, but anyway, resource cost reduction is good. Then just go area damage and followed up with life on hit, and lastly gold find. Okay, so we're now in just a normal rift here, so I'm gonna show you how this works. Be mindful of to keep up your focus restraint all the time, and then just use Rain of Vengeance on cooldown. You see, this is actually really good, at least for this. If I can actually crit, thank you. But as I told you before, I mean, you could use the other variation for different results, obviously, because then you're building up a really high damage Fan of Knives, And I guess that could work too. I mean, I haven't really tried that out because I still need... Yeah, that's the thing. Because I haven't really found another Dawn which I can actually equip. I only have the one I cubed like millions of years ago, so you can't really, you know, pick out the cubed. So this is what I have to do right now, but it is fun, it works. This guy doesn't really want to die though. There we go. So here, okay, I actually got a channeling pylon on this as well, so it's gonna be really easy. But yeah, as you can see, rift bosses die really quickly here. So that's the build actually. I mean, oh wait, oh my god! I can't believe I actually forgot to show you what abilities I'm using at the passives. Wow, I'm really weird today. Anyway, so, to just end it off, I'm using Evasive Fire Focus because of the Hatred generation and to proc, you know, the focus restraint damage and the bracers. I use Rocket Storm on the strafe. This is probably not really that useful. I just found that it procs your, you know, reduced cooldown on Vengeance more because of more projectiles. I don't think it does, but it just felt like it did. If you use the other variation and just equip Dawn, you will be using the Drifting Shadow here instead. Rain of Vengeance, Dark Cloud, because I find that it does more damage. Also, you don't have to really, you know, aim it all the time. I mean, you do the general damage you do comes from the, of course, initial impact. So, but in the other variation, you can use Shade, I think, mainly because it deals lightning damage, and you will be focusing on that. Yeah, Vault, Tumble, because of, you know, coming around, getting around easier. Companion, Wolf Companion for damage. Vengeance and using Seath because of course, the Visage in the cube already gives you Dark Heart. I use Tactical Advantage because of the speed boost. Call of the Week because it goes hand in hand kind of with Thrill of the Hunt. Because Strafe hits so many targets, and you know, you gain the damage of both, of course, Bane of the Stricken because you slow stuff, and Call of the Week. So that's like 20, like 30% plus 20, so like 50% extra damage right there. And Archery for just 5% crit chance and more hatred generated. So that, yeah, that's basically what I'm using. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.